Siyamthanda Kolisi has the weight of the nation on his shoulders, and so far he has done an absolutely sterling job. A team which has not done so good though are the Proteas, and they have stooped to another level of low which we haven't seen for a long time after being soundly beaten by India, and now they are trailing the test series by 2-0 with 1 match to go. As usual, right here on Sports Live, we always rope in the best to dissect what's happening in our world of sports. Tonight, to discuss the Proteas as well as the Springboks, we've got Lunga, Kupiso, as well as our very own Thando, Mxoli. Good evening, gentlemen, and welcome.
Hello, hello.
Thank you for gracing us.
Pleasure.
Okay, so Lunga, I'll start with you. Let's speak about the Proteas. I mean, we're already 2-0 down with 1 test to go. Is there actually anything left to play for?
Yeah, there is. So the introduction of the Test Championship is actually great for these kind of situations where you go into an odd number test series where every match counts for points. So the Proteas still have a 3rd match to play, and if they are to win that match, then they get points going into that log. So everything is still to play for. And actually, if you go and you win this test match and you go into another series where, say, you're playing a 2-match test series and you win those 2 matches, then you'd be on the same kind of equal points as India, depending on how well you do in that series. So everything is at stake, literally.
Okay, so we're at that point where we're just trying to salvage the situation and find the best out of what really hasn't been a great showing at all for the Proteas. But in terms of how we've performed against India, there have been a number of problems there, and where do you think our biggest issue has been? Is it just that our bowling attack hasn't stepped up as we would have expected it to do? Because generally I feel that that's where we're comfortable as a nation.
Well, we used to be strong batters in the past, and then our bowling just really caught up to the world level. But currently, our biggest cancer in the side is just the application of batting.
That's the thing. I mean, like, looking at the T20 series, for example, everyone was saying our batting has improved, and the quality of pitches that the Indians have laid out for us is really great. So you would have expected a better batting performance from guys who have gone into the series actually with runs behind them. It's really been disappointing. Guys like your Bavumas, your Tinus de Bruin, who's had many chances. Aiden Markram, that's another player who should step up at the international level, but he's sort of, people are calling him a myth per se, because in 18 tests he hasn't really shone against the top nations, which is rather disappointing for a player of his talent, because we've seen him at local level. He's got the talent to be good at this level, but it just hasn't.
It hasn't translated.
Yeah.
So are we having a problem in terms of the transition from how the players are performing locally as opposed to when they step into representing for the Proteas?
I don't think that's our problem. Our problem is that we are too lenient in the number of opportunities we give people. And what actually we don't realize is by giving someone 2 years to continuously fail at that level, it just kills their belief in their skill.
Yeah.
Whereas if you were to drop them and say, come back to domestic where you continue to shine, continue doing well, pick up your confidence there,
and we'll pick you up
at one point or another.
Yeah.
But by continuously sticking him there, knowing the kind of public that we are as South Africans when it comes to our sport and our demands, is really, for me, I don't get the thinking.
Our demands are not unjustified, though. But now I want to wrap up this conversation on the cricket. Just one last question before we do wrap it up. What do these results actually mean for Enoch?
They shouldn't mean a lot, because this is a team in transition, and you allowed a certain level of failure when you're a team in transition, because you're bringing in. He brought a very inexperienced test side to India. Yeah. India are the best test playing nation in the world. They went to grounds which they'd never played on. So there basically was nothing to work with in terms of reference points. So I think you can't judge him on this series. The fair thing to do would be judge him after the summer.
Okay.
Well, you give them the team and you say, look, take on England, take on Australia. After that, we'll see if you are worthy of taking on this team for another year or 2, or we find someone else.
Okay, I feel like we have a differing view over here. Let's hear what you have to say.
No, the only thing that Thando missed in that statement is, in a normal world, these results would mean nothing for Enoch. But I did say when the appointment was made that for me, I feel like they're saying, here's an opportunity. If you make good of it, we'll give you the contract. If you don't make good of it, which is, I think, is what was the expectation anyway, that we're going to go to India and not do well, that it's going to go on his record, which would be unfortunate.
We're working here. Obviously, these are just your thoughts and it's just your opinion in terms of what you think was happening there. But now let's move on into the discussion around the Springboks. Exciting times for us as South Africa. Thando, let's talk about Japan. This is a team that shocked Ireland, which was recently the #1 team in the world. They shocked Scotland today. We're going to be facing them in the quarterfinals, and they seem so confident in what they're doing at this moment. And facing them on their home ground with their home supporters, should the Springboks be worried?
They should be very worried. Unlike the previous World Cup where we faced the underdogs, I'd go as far as saying we are the underdogs going into this match, because we basically, we're not just underdogs, we're the unwanted underdogs.
Yeah.
Because the whole world wants Japan to win. From a sentimental point of view, you want the host nation, the small nation, to beat a top-tier nation like South Africa. They're playing great rugby. Not just today against Scotland, they match against Ireland when they beat Ireland against everyone's expectation. That's a bit of a worry factor, because they've got a couple of things going for them. They have the unpredictability whereby they can run from anywhere and they can score whenever. But also they've brought a lot of structure to their game, which is something I haven't really seen in a while. They're very disciplined. They can actually match the top sides in a structured game, which is a worry for us, because we thrive on that. We always say when we're playing a team like Japan, we're going to beat them at the set pieces. But if they're good at the line-out and they're good at the scrums, then it's a bit of a challenge going forward. But yeah, I am a bit worried about playing Japan, even though I wanted them to get to the next stage.
Just not through us.
Unfortunately, they came straight into our lane, and but still, the Springboks have got the talent. The Springboks have shown they've got class. We've beaten the best in the world. We've beaten the world champions. Not at home, in New Zealand. We should not forget that. Those are important reference points. This team, remember the first 2 years, how they struggled, and they've turned things around. They've shown an enormous character about them. They don't know when they're beaten, basically, and
they just never die. Keep on pushing.
All the great results, they've come back, which is another character trait of this team. Whether it's a leadership group or certain players like a Cheslin Colby, for example.
Standing up when it matters.
Remember back in the days when people were saying Cheslin Colby is too small? Now the conversation has changed and everyone's saying World Rugby Player of the Year. That small man on the wing from South Africa, he should be World Rugby Player of the Year. They've shown a lot of character over the last couple of years, and that is what you want.
They have shown great character over the past couple of years. Let's look now particularly at their performance in this World Cup. We saw them against your Canada, against your Italy, really going out there and capitalizing. But it's the small mistakes that the Boks make which could come back to haunt us playing a team like Japan. So what does Rassie and the boys need to do going into this encounter against Japan?
I think, Thando, what is key in our journey is that actually losing to New Zealand as our first game was a blessing in disguise, because what it has done is we avoid the difficult route which New Zealand has to go through, which is face Ireland, potentially face either England or Australia. We're now in a quarterfinal where we play against Japan, a good on-form Japan side, but they still have their own areas that they need to pay attention to. And if the Boks can exploit those, which I'm pretty sure that Rassie would have been paying close attention to the game today. So, for example, their fullback likes to drift. When they are defending, the guys on the wing, on the outer spaces, also get sucked into the game. And I think that's something, especially with the Cheslin Colby, fingers crossed that he'll be fit. With the Cheslin on the wings, those are areas that you could exploit. So we're not too worried, I think.
You know, Lunga, I was looking at this team specifically in relation to the World Cup winning teams. We've got a captain who everyone said is not good enough to start, but he's a leader of men. And you look at the 99 team whereby they lost the World Cup and everyone said you had the wrong captain. We've got game breakers in the back line. We don't play the most fanciest of rugby. We keep it simple, and that simplicity is our success. This team has built character over the years. Like we said earlier, over the first 2 years, they struggled. They've transformed, they've come back, and they've become a better team character-wise, and the players as well have become better players because of the adversities they faced in the past.
And I think that's something that you need in sport.
Gentlemen, I'm so sorry to cut you. We have run out of time. Win for the Springboks, yes, no?
Against Japan, yes, it's going to happen.
Yes, no?
Always Springboks.
Always. I love it. I love it. Thando's actually going with the Springboks today. Well, South Africa, such a lovely show, but unfortunately, all good things do have to come to an end.